Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yo. Cash and the ticket is yours. Yours.
Feel my heart, it's beat tight. All my body's breathing, it's just you and me. Feel my heart, it's beat tight. All my body's breathing, it's just you and me. I'm so caught in this, we're so lost deep in it, can't stop. I'm forever the one you call. Let's free fall. I'm so caught in this, we're
so damn good.
The talent on these teams is undeniable. Everybody on every team right now is making plays.
It's going to be an exciting start to the season, and it'll just get better from here on out.
We're about to step to a whole new era of Overwatch esports. So much exciting action is happening here on CGL that you do not want to miss.
Look who's starting it all off. It's Raven. No one necessarily figure out what is the right way to go just yet.
What a nice roll through from me. It's just gonna solidify everything within those.
Does come back, and Arsario gets the mech, but I don't need a mech. I'll kill 4 anyway.
This is just a highlight reel for Arsario right now.
They're making a statement in the EU Masters here.
This patch is still incredibly fresh. There's so much to learn, so much to change about the way we play the game.
NKC, but the shatter is colossal.
Let's get it going.
Trades keep coming through. Lores, you're gonna be able to find these shots true.
Idu on the overclock with 2.
Here comes an athlete immediately comes back like fine skills, slicing and dicing their way through 2-3. So back and forth.
Do something.
Good afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you are in the world. We are here with some more CGL action, ready to bring it to you, breaking it down, this time in the NA Console Open Division. I won't be able to break it down alone, of course. I've got Shadowfang with me, and how are you doing tonight?
Oh, I'm doing just great, Megalas, and I hope you are as well. Excited to see some open tier, some rather vicious gameplay, one might say, with these two teams we got going against each other tonight.
Exactly. The Vicious Essence versus Vicious Sharks here. Both these teams have some stakes in this match. A trip to the mid-season tournament kicking off tomorrow on the line for one of these squads. So let's just get right on into the meat and potatoes here, getting our first look at Vicious Essence. And I mean, right now, this could be a decent squad, Shadow.
Yeah, very much could be. We're going to have Amity and Nero running that DPS line with Chicken on that tank. Then you got Crazy Turn and Dark on that support line. If I remember right, Crazy Turn, very, very strong player on that support line. So I would keep an eye out for them in this series.
I mean, hey, listen, you know, that is something that you want to keep in mind, right? Just how powerful some of these players can be, but, you know, they are not the only players, of course. Again, another vicious squad lies on the horizon, and that is the Vicious Sharks here. The heroes look a little funny. This is what happens when you don't fill out your team sheets. That's what I'm going to say openly, because teams are a little bit silly, but I mean, hey, still a stacked squad, right?
Oh, absolutely. You got Umbreon, Panda. We're going to have Torterra, Lucas, and Infamous. I can't help but notice there's 2 Pokemon names on here. I wonder if those are going to be, those are like the 2 carries of the team, the 2 Pokemon players, Umbreon and Torterra, surely, right?
I mean, hey, listen, if you're going off Pokemon types, there's no common weakness between them, but, you know, we'll have to see if that weakness is something that can be found or exploited on the other side of things. So, like we were saying, stakes are high. This is our last broadcasters match before we start our mid-season tournament, and, you know, luckily, numbers aren't the craziest thing that matters right now. Both these teams sitting at 2-1. Whoever wins this match, regardless of the map differential, will secure a spot in that mid-season tournament here for console. The losers, however, are then going to just have to battle another day. But their battleground, I mean, it's across all these maps.
Yeah, I mean, we're going to see Antarctic Peninsula, Parisa, Throne of Anubis, Esperanza, and Route 66. Antarctic Peninsula, I actually do really, really like as a control map. It's a rather fun map. And it is a map we could see those brawl comp potentially come into play. You know, console really, really loves their brawl if they can play it. So I wouldn't be shocked to see something along the lines of that, but the sustainability of the Orisa combined with the Juno as of right now seems to be possibly the strongest thing that you could play.
I couldn't agree more. Yeah, but it is only a matter of time will tell. We've seen tons of crazy comps across Antarctic over the week. You know, a lot of Ramatra being in play for those brawl comps, like you said, but still, even playing the Orisa in a brawl style where you're seeing the Orisa, instead of being this passive tank, get a little bit more in your face and personal with the sort of damage that she can do, especially spearing opponents out of the way here. But I mean, looking at the comps to start here, what do you think is going to be the highlight?
I mean, right here, I'm really curious to see how this Sharks team is going to play this Ana Zen in combination with the Orisa, because especially if they're going to have to play into, okay, so now we're seeing a Bap Juno. That's an interesting combination, especially going into the Tracer Sombra. I'm really curious. Okay, now we're Juno Brig. Juno Brig into Tracer Sombra. I actually think Sharks is going to have a really good time fending off that Tracer Sombra attack of Essence.
Gonna have to see if they can fend it off indeed here, as it will be on board with the Sharks first. They're taking some pathing around the outside here, just a bit of poke, nothing major just yet. Looking for this Mei wall to zone somebody out. That being said, already having to invest that speed ring to help try to keep everybody on the Sharks alive. That hack, which is a little bit too dangerous at the wrong time here. Point has now unlocked, but nobody's been able to get over to it. Chicken solo in the mech, but is going to fly back to the team before getting the mech. The healing's not there in time, so that will be the first casualty. The Diva removed from the fight means Sharks will have just a very free quick cap.
And I mean, it's kind of exactly what I was saying a minute ago. Once the hack did not take out Lucas and Infamous was able to save them, that was your entire play with this composition. And now it looks like we're going to see a little bit of a swap on this comp. And I actually like this. a good bit better. You're probably going to need the ante to come out just to try and finish somebody off for the side of Sharks. Otherwise, their sustain is just so insanely high with this Orisa, it's going to be too hard to get a single kill.
Could not agree with you more here. The antis can come up clutch, but that being said, you're going to see the battle of two Meis as well here. Both going to be looking for walls. You're already seeing Amity fire off these icicles. Not that big of a zoning wall though, as the punches are having to come out. The Nemesis form is keeping Chicken alive for the moment here, but that timer is starting to dwindle. Everybody is critical. There's trying to be this crazy amount of healing coming from the backline. They do actually manage to sustain, survive the fight here. Now it is Torterra that had to back up, a little bit low on healing. Nobody managed to die, but finally an icicle from Panda will be the first blow in this fight, and that might just sound the retreat once again from Essence here, as they're already zoned off, falling by the wayside one after another.
I mean, it's just same story, different comp. The Orisa is just nigh unkillable right now with all these resources just being dumped into them by this Juno and Brigitte. And you do end up using Bob from Umbreon, but you have your other 4 ults essentially online. And all Vicious is going to have to combat that is a Blizzard and an Orbital Strike of their own. So I think Sharks has a huge advantage here in this next fight.
These orbitals have been impactful ultimates. These Junos can do no wrong with them, it seems here. But Torterra now walled off, going to be sectioned alone here. But using that to their advantage, Terra starts trapping everybody in. It will actually be Nero finding first blood here. Now traded out in a 1-for-1 situation. The Deadeye being channeled while Torterra tries to tear into the backline here. The shots ring true though. In the DPS line of Essence is cleaning up the fight, and they're going to be able to flip it.
It took a really big investment. Great plays from the side of Essence, honestly, to just stay alive. I really thought that wall into the Terra Surge was going to be the play to take it for the Sharks, but they ended up having to burn all those ultimates in a lost fight. And now you look here, and Essence has Nano Boost and Annihilation available. That's like an insta-kill onto this Brigitte, unless, of course, Panda catches that out with this Blizzard, which could turn the tides.
Good indeed here. So now we're charging up for another one. The anti does connect though, leaving Umbreon incredibly low on HP, but still willing to send that dynamite through. Needs a little bit of stabilization effort, but now the Blizzard being thrown out with an Annihilation as well. The Nano Boost onto the Ramattra, not frozen up, instead charging forward, fist over fist, time and again doing the damage needed here. And that dump of ultimates leads Essence to another fight.
And I mean, yeah, that's exactly what you were supposed to do there if you were Essence. Get the ante off, nano your Ramattra, insta-kill the supports or one of the DPS, and that's exactly what you did. So great play from Essence. Now you're going to have to deal with the fact that Bob is going to be online shortly, and Torterra is going to get this Terra Surge up momentarily as well. You just need to sustain into this next fight.
There we see it, the Mei wall now sectioning off members of Sharks here as the anti is applied onto the Orisa. Torterra so incredibly low, but able to live for the time being, it seems. This Juno putting in all of the healing needed right now for a stabilization for the Sharks as they duel over this high ground. Meanwhile, we're looking for ultimates to be the turning factor here. It's going to be a Bob from Umbreon trying to do some zoning, but it'll not actually be a Blizzard. The wall was not thrown up in time, but it might seem too little too late. The Sharks have found their damage. They found their numbers. The Terror Surge just an exclamation point on top of everything else. The May now stuck, cryoed off the map, and there's nothing you can do. Sharks will take round 1.
And that was just kind of Sharks got to their ultimates first. That's really all that was. Once they were able to sustain Torterra, you mentioned it, Torterra got down to one-shot territory. As soon as they were able to sustain through that, you got both of your support ults off of that. Boom, pop your support ults. Oh, would you look at that? We built up the Bob and the Terra Surge in the meantime as well. So it was really just, Essence had their moment. They needed to take down Torterra when they had the chance to. Once that did not happen, Sharks was able to take advantage and just roll because of that fact. So great play from Sharks and Essence too, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, again, just once you're getting up to 99 so early in these fights, there's just not a lot you can do, you know, for the attacking team having to try to bounce back. But speaking of the bounce back here, both teams now rushing to point once again with the assist of those Juno speed rings. Bit of adaptation, Vicious going back over, well, I guess it's Vicious Essence, should specify that one. Back over to their Diva composition to get a little bit feisty in these fights. Meanwhile, Panda currently on board with the Genji here, so potentially trying to dash into the backline, cause some nuisance, cause some problems, but it will be Sharks getting a little bit aggressive. They found out the Juno, and Crazy Turn already removed from the fight. So now this Diva's health pool is going to be limited. But that being said, Chicken's making the most of it, finding not one but two, with Nero's assistance, making it a third. So now all of a sudden, Essence, they turned a fight loss into their ultimate victory here, getting the first cap.
I mean, just really great turnaround there for the side of Essence. Like you said, it looked like they had completely lost that fight with that early pick, but they just capitalized on the fact that Sharks got a little excited about getting that early pick, probably a little content in thinking they had won that fight. And then you see Nero and Amity, that Tracer Sombra can get around very quickly, so they were able to help and assist Chicken in getting those picks, and it's just great play.
Amazing here as now the speed ring in from the Sharks as they are having to try to retake this base once again. Chicken just going to fly back using those boosters before re-engaging with their own speed ring. Umbreon so incredibly low will finally be found out here, and Nero going to work in the backline. This Tracer is doing everything right now. The Orisa will finally be burned through, and that'll be another fight win for Essence.
Yeah, and I mean, that's 2 fights in a row now. We've been watching Panda just kind of just throwing shuriken just at the Diva. I think something needs to be done to deter this Tracer a little bit more. They're getting in a lot, so I really like this Mei swap from Panda. I think this is going to deter that Tracer Sombra a lot more from pushing your backline. Because I mean, look, Lucas and Infamous, neither one of them has even 50% ult charge, and it's been 2 fights. So they're just getting jumped on instantly, and you need to do something before this Sombra gets easy.
And now we're watching into the next fight. The Diva is behind Chicken, applying that pressure. This means Nero's waiting in the wings. Pulse Bomb already locked and loaded, but it is going to be Infamous once again found out here. Will be Chicken, and then a Pulse Bomb sticks, rings true. So even though Sharks do get the flip in this fight, ultimately, unless a miracle happens here for Torterra, this fight is going to be lost and flipped back to Essence.
Yeah, so Essence just continuing to do what their comp is supposed to do. Their comp is supposed to jump on supports and kill them as fast as possible. What's happening every fight? We're seeing Infamous drop super early, and there's the EMP coming out early in spawn. Oh.
Bit of a BM EMP, doesn't actually find its mark here, and so now Nero's missing as well. Chicken's mech is going to go down, but somebody has to get over to the objective. They do manage to touch in the nick of time here, but that is Essence investing every single ultimate in the kitchen sink. But, you know, it's actually being a bit of a trade back and forth as now Torterra willing to commit that Terra Surge here, and it will be a D-Mech Chicken simply trying to do their best to live for the time being, but I think that this life will be short-lived.
Oh, great work not letting them get back in that mech. And if you're the side of Sharks, all that cost you was a Terra Surge. You're in such a good position now. You probably win this next fight without even like really trying to win this next fight if you're Sharks. You kind of have to fumble this pretty hard if you're Sharks to not win at least this next fight. And then we're in last fight territory, assuming this fight goes the way of Sharks. So great recovery.
Exactly here. So now we're seeing the roles be reversed. It is Essence trying to apply pressure to the point here, as it is now Disarmor being found out here. Umbreon being kept alive thanks to the Brig Rally. But a flip did occur in the middle of this fight, so it is Sharks who now have to get back over to it. They're winning the fight out. And oh, the nice flashbang will stop Nero in their tracks and get the percentage to keep on ticking for the Sharks.
Oh, that was absolutely filthy by Umbreon. I love seeing those little flick to the flash, to the shot. But it did only cost you your rally if you're Sharks. So now you've still got orbital ray, which is like the ultimate right now in the game. So like all you gotta do is pop this as soon as the Essence tries to push, and you're looking at potentially the end of the map, depending on how long this fight goes.
Could be indeed here. Nero lurking up the side, so close to that pulse bomb, knowing they want to deliver it onto a support here. Waiting for the Diva though, making sure that engage comes through and finding Infamous out with just the raw damage now onto the Cassidy here. No Brig Rally to save you this time. The damage is too great. Now a stuck pulse bomb. Everybody is removed from the equation on the side of Sharks, and they will be sending us to the third round.
I mean, that was a really good capitalization there by Essence. Nero and Chicken just hopping on that back line. Excellent work from Essence. But if you're Sharks, an ultimate has to come out at some point during that exchange. Like, at some point, you got to pop one of those 3 ultimates. You had Deadeye, you had Blizzard, and you had the Orbital Strike. So, like, one of those 3 has to come out once you notice any pressure coming through, because... You know, for instance, if the Diva just flies in a little bit too far, you could pop the Orbital Strike, try and force the Diva out of mech, for an example, you know. But it just didn't happen, and so hopefully the Sharks can learn from that on this next map.
We'll have to see here, as another adaptation from Essence. They're going to be rolling out on what could be considered an Orisa counter, right? They have the Zarya in tow here, wanting to play that range as well, with both teams selecting the Ashe instead of the Cassidy. Means that these supports might be feeling a little bit less pressure, but it will be an initial Maywall out from Essence here. But the Orisa just sends the barrel right through it. They're pushing forward, taking the space, but Torterra will pay for this over-aggression, and now a high-charge Zarya Chicken going forward with these right clicks from Hell, doing the damage, removing Panda from the fight, and Shark's over-aggression will cost them dearly as Essence gets the first cap.
I mean, it's really just that great anti-nade coming out from Dark. As soon as that happens, Torterra can't live, and now you're seeing Torterra with this Ramatra adaptation. So maybe if you get antied, you can still put your hands up, and you're taking all that reduced damage. So that could really help out in terms of getting antied so often.
As you're seeing in the background, Panda just a little bit asleep. This off angle from Dark on the Ana really doing work now. The shield trying to go past the Zarya, but Chicken is demanding the respect, but that respect is paid in kind with a Maywall here. Now Umbreon getting these lovely Ashe shots in. Will be Sharks moving over to the objective now in a quick fight, over and done.
I really like that push from the side of Sharks. Panda with the great Maywall, basically winning that fight outright for their team. And now we're gonna see the Ram Mirror come out. So now we're back in the spot we were a moment ago, where I think Essence is gonna have a little bit of a better comp because they have this anti available to them.
The antis have been massive so far. You gotta make sure Dark can keep landing them though, as we're trading Ramatra shields. You're seeing Sharks try to stuff Essence into this small little room, but they're managing to break out slowly but surely. It's costing Chicken a lot of his health, as the Blizzard is gonna first come out from Amity, not being able to freeze anybody up. So nice kite, but it is actually gonna be a Ramatra caught off here. Torterra does manage to pop the form after Amity goes down, as it is now a 4v4. 2 team members have burnt to a crisp at the hands of Dynamite. Now a nano boost being delivered onto Chicken here. Nowhere near that annihilation. Doesn't even have the pummel for. Meanwhile, Torterra more than happy to let it rip in the hands of Infamous's Orbital Ray. And it is so much damage, it can't be overcome.
I mean, wow, just the ram punches going into that Orbital Ray, like you said, just watching just kill after kill after kill coming through for Torterra. You end up burning the Bob as well, so... But for the side of Essence, they burnt the Orbital Ray, the Nano, and the Blizzard. So, like, you're really not that mad, because now Panda's going to have Blizzard available here in this next fight. And I imagine with the way they've been playing these Maywalls, that they're going to get a big-time Blizzard coming up here.
have to wait and see if it can deliver that epic ice spectacle that they are hoping for here, as it is final fight territory. Unless Essence can get a flip, you're seeing them already kite over to the objective, and it seems like they're just going to get the flip for free here. Now the re-engage comes through with that blizzard, but Nero is ready. Bob is not frozen in the back of point, ready to catch some damage. It will be Panda, the first one to fall. The health bars so incredibly suffering on the side of Sharks. They're having to try to stabilize. This Juno is managing to live for the time being, and Umbreon actually manages to find the answer back onto Nero, still on the high ground. Now it is going to force Chicken to pop that Annihilation, the extra damage. If you're staying on point, if you're anywhere near Chicken, you're going to be hurt. But Umbreon continuing to rain these shots in on the Ash, actually managed to remove the Ramattra from the fight here. And I mean, now Essence, they're going to have to find somebody to touch at the last moment.
Oh, and it doesn't look like... Oh, wait, we do get a touch here. Oh.
It's a touch. The Tracer is doing what they can here, but it's so too late. Now the D.Va coming in, as well as the Mei Cryo. The D.Va trying to use those micro missiles to burn down one of these DPS, but no picks are coming through. The D.Va has been demeched. The Mei has been dispatched, and the Sharks seem fully in control here to take Antarctic Peninsula.
Great map from the side of Sharks and Essence, honestly. I mean, it kind of looks like Essence is a lot stronger when they're running that Tracer Sombra composition, and Sharks appear to be a lot better of a team on the Brawl compositions, at least just based on the first couple of maps there. So you really want to see if the side of Essence can possibly do a lot better on Paraiso, which is going to be a more dive-centric type of map, and I imagine they can run that Tracer Sombra that they were doing so well at for the entire map this time.
Could not agree with you more. I mean, they really showed how dominant they were and how much they could get away with in terms of that dive, but you know, now sitting here having to think about it, we didn't even see if Sharks wanted to run a dive, right? So while they did fall victim to the Tracer Sombra, maybe they've got something in the back pocket themselves here, but only time can tell with that situation. But I mean, before we're fully breaking down the dive, I mean, as the series is going to go on, I'm sure that we're going to go back to some more of these brawl, these counter switches. What do you think is really going to end up being where these tanks lie at the end of the day?
I think, honestly, it's just gonna be who's aggressive at the correct moment, because like we saw with the Ramatras, a lot of times the Ramatra that was winning the fight was popping their Annihilation once the other team was on the back foot and had already used some of their cooldowns that would normally stop that from happening. So it's really just a matter of, you know, same as it would be with any other tank. Just make sure you're tracking those cooldowns properly and just get aggressive at the exact right moment. Because if you get aggressive at the wrong moment, you're going to catch an anti and then probably just die early to, you know, getting Mei walled or something like that. Because the Meis always add that extra level to it when you're a tank. So that always makes it tough.
Yeah, it is going to be super crucial with these swaps, and we do actually have some substitutions. We just got whispered into our ear as well. We have Styx coming in on the DPS line. I mean, why do you switch a player? I mean, this is probably some sort of like dive related issue. Like you're probably sending in someone just to play Tracer, right?
Yes, Panda was the one playing the Mei for the most part on this first map. We saw them play Genji a little bit, but for the most part, they were really, really dominating on that Mei. So I have to imagine, like you said, this is going to be potentially their Tracer player coming in, and we're going to see that full-on dive comp come into play for the Sharks. So I really want to see how they're going to play it as opposed to how Essence plays it. Are they going to go Tracer Sombra, or is there some other variation that they might want to go, like a Tracer Echo or something to that effect?
Only time can tell here, as you know, both teams, they have the chance to sort of mix things up. That's the great thing about Paraiso. As much as people, you know, like to say the map is awful, it is awful, I promise. But it's interesting, right? It definitely forces a completely different style of Overwatch than what we've been accustomed to for the past couple of months. But you know, there is just something that has to be very niche and very notable about it. And we've seen a lot of different styles, right? We've seen the D.Va sort of become the meta pick as of late with how much micro missiles can do. But from there, we've seen so many other dive tanks as well come to fruition.
I mean, I'm a Winston enjoyer myself, but I can acknowledge that the Diva is just like a hair overtuned still. But if the Sharks are gonna come out on the Winston composition, I mean, I'm just gonna have to favor them. No, but actually, that's the only difference we're going to see here is the Winston and the Diva. If the Winston can get their bubble placement exactly right, I think it's better than the Diva, but I think the Diva is a lot easier to get that value off of just because of how big DM is and how long you can hold it for.
Indeed, as just again, you know, it is sort of going to be that difference in the Winston and the Diva here, as we're seeing just a little bit of posturing on the high ground, very standard stuff, as the attackers are going to have to take some time to set up. The ultimate goal, of course, being this Ana and Brig in the back line. The Winston dropping low already, and Torterra actually gone. The micro misses along with a headshot from Amity on this Ashe, going to deliver anti onto Chicken. No means this mech is going to drop incredibly low in HP, but will be able to get out and get healed up for the time being here, and now ready to re-engage. But Umbreon answering back means his defense is going to be lacking its star-studded hit scan, so this is going to be an opportunity for the Sharks to come forward here. But Torterra already getting poked out, but decided to dive in anyway, having to get that on a nade. The peel is there for the supports as we're going back and forth. Now Styx currently being slept in the stairwell. My goodness, such a good sleep is going to be able to deter them for the time being, but only so long, as Chicken had to go out to point to try to contest it, loses the mech, loses their life, and it seems like this defense has been dismantled.
And I mean, that's the classic spawn advantage giving you the map right there. Both teams get one kill, but Umbreon's kill comes a little bit later and against the team that doesn't have spawn advantage. So there you go. Point number one goes the way of the Sharks. And we're already built up to this Primal Rage. I love the way Torterra just instantly blocked off that staircase and tried to deny as much value as they could. I mean, look, Infamous nowhere near this rally, and Dark is just about to come up on it right now.
Coming up on the rally could be massive here, as you see Sharks that are playing aggressive, trying to take the tempo on these high grounds here, but it's a little bit of a bite back here as Chicken has gone forward, now lost a lot of armor on that mech, but unfortunately flew right into the welcoming arms of the Tracer here, and Styx managed to actually even pick up Nero for their trouble there. So while the Diva gets back into mech, they are still going to be short-handed in this fight, as the rest of the Sharks seems to just take control of the high ground.
Yeah, I'm loving this play from Static right now. You can definitely see why they got swapped. The Nano comes out onto Chicken now.
Nano onto Chicken means that there will be a nice fight here. You already see the DPS missing. They were able to take out Crazy Turn with a Pulse Bomb here, and a hack means that it does force the rally now, but the Pulse Bomb stuck in the corner. Infamous just was not ready for it. The Primal Rage now happening in the backline. No Briggs allowed to live for the time being, it seems. This Winston trying to do some damage with the Tesla cannon, can't seem to finish off this Tracer. Nero then goes to work, removes Lucas from the fight, and even though the Sharks technically live, they are short-handed.
I mean, that was kind of insane that Torterra managed to live there. And now here comes the re-engage already from Chicken. Nope, no time to rest if you're the side of the Sharks.
No rest for the Wicked, as now they're heading forward here. Amity able to remove Umbreon. That Sombra just being so powerful, but it is Nero just being this high ground menace. Forced the recall already, but that's more than fine. You can do plenty of damage with the pulse pistols, as you're seeing the rest of the Shark squad actually all peeling back to remove Amity from the fight. A little bit of an overextension for that Sombra is enough for the Sharks to punish it, and so now you're seeing Chicken go forward here, trying to make something out of nothing. The anti is applied onto not one, not two, but three members here. The Brig so incredibly low, but they can't find the finishing blow, as Torterra manages to get the kill onto the Tracer. But that being said, the bomb actually trades it out. The Winston wasn't safe in time here, and so again, just another back and forth fight, because this payload will slowly inch forward.
I mean, that's probably the best case scenario if you're the side of Essence. It's like, okay, bomb, we'll trade out the tanks. Why not? You know? But Amity gonna EMP this high ground here momentarily. This could be big time.
Oh my goodness, the EMP, it latches onto the perfect targets. Right now you're seeing that Ashe missing from the equation here. The Sharks, again, probably going to be stifled. Chicken slept for a moment, but the moment is not enough. But that being said, they are able to find the damage to actually remove Chicken, a little bit overextended. And now with a Pulse Bomb to boot, the Sharks actually have bounced back resoundingly in this fight.
Oh, I mean, just beautiful, beautiful response from the side of the Sharks. And now Torterra is going to be able to just isolate out this Ana for their team. But wait, here comes the touch still. Wow.
I mean, yeah, being able to touch at last minute can do you wonders, but unfortunately, it seems those wonders have run out. So now, with the Diva falling, we will be heading on to point C.
I mean, that's probably the best case scenario if you're Essence. You do manage to get the Nano Boost out, but the Sharks do have 5 ultimates available to them still. The side of Essence is just going to have Nano and Bomb and Rally. The Rally should come up somewhere in the mid-fight, but if you're the side of the Sharks, you can engage before Dart gets this Rally, and I think that's got to be your objective here if you're the Sharks.
We will have to wait and see if that's the case. With the Winston going in, knowing they have the power with the Pulse, removing Pulse support sticks, just doing what is needed here. Absolutely massive. The Primal Rage, the cherry on top, leaving the Baby Diva alive. Chicken can only do so much as they're getting staggered out now, being left for naught. And this will keep on moving.
Yeah, and still, again, great ult there from Static. Static is just dominating on this Tracer right now. You're seeing why they got swapped in. Umbreon throwing this Bob early. I love this play.
The aggressive Bob, but somehow, someway, Amity manages to live for the time being, but that celebration is short-lived itself, as now the Nano Beast being delivered onto the Diva. Chicken desperately trying to get over to the payload as it inches forward towards the completion of the map. This rally is keeping the Sharks more than happily sustained here. The Baby Diva goes down, the shield is there, nobody can get to the cart, and with a minute 54 on the bank, Sharks complete Paraiso.
I mean, that's dominance on Paraiso. Paraiso is a very, very hard map to finish, so that's about as close to a dominant performance that you can see. And again, I just got to keep singing Static's praises. Static is doing such a great job of just pressuring this backline right in time for Torterra to then go in with this Winston dive and get these final shots off with that Tesla cannon. And this right here, what's happening right now is why I think the Winston overall is the better pick. You just have to play it to almost perfection for it to be better than the Diva.
I mean, yeah, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, we saw how many times the Diva was finding insane value, Chicken no slouch, but it just seemed like the synchronization between the Winston and the Tracer was just far too much to overcome here. But, you know, now looking at it, I mean, at least in the spawn room right now, Essence is hovering over the Winston themselves. Do you think this will be enough to bring them over the edge?
I think it's going to be tough because Amity is on this cast pick right now, and you're just at a disadvantage, especially trying to push into this Ashe. Because I don't know how many of you have played Cash trying to shoot an Ashe from the same distance, but you do about 5 damage per headshot from this distance as Cass. So it's gonna be kind of tough for them to win that duel against Umbreon. And then it looks like Static as well is gonna go for this Echo pick. I like this pick as well in theory, but they may end up swapping back to the Tracer once they see there's no Diva anymore. We'll have to see.
Let's see, we shall here, as now lacking that Tracer, like you said, it could be interesting here for the defense, especially as you're seeing Essence, they're starting to sort of posture themselves in the exact way we saw Sharks do on their attack. They're nated in the same exact way as well, with Torterra trying to follow up. Asleep, the will stop that for the time being. But that being said, Chicken actually alone in the backline somewhere manages to fall to Static sticky bombs. Unfortunate for them, but now Umbreon with an extra pick as well means that the attack is going to be reset.
And I mean, just systematic dive from the side of the Sharks. Torterra and Static still on the same page, regardless of what heroes they're on. It's just, I love seeing a good Winston dive. It's like the most satisfying thing in the game to see two characters, like a Winston and another DPS, just right on cue with each other.
Yeah, it's absolutely amazing to see here. But now the Winston being poked out in the alley. They're well aware Chicken's here, but Chicken choosing to go in low HP anyway. No PO means that this Winston will just simply fall over by the wayside. And that will be another defensive fight won for the side of Sharks.
Yeah, and I'm starting to think that Essence might need to swap back onto this Diva if they want to have a chance of pushing this, because they just don't seem to be quite as crisp on the Winston as Torterra is. So they might just want to pick their comfort hero and go with the Diva. Because look now, Static about to have this copy, Lucas about to have this Nano. We're coming up on ultimates, and there's only 2 minutes left on this push right now.
2 minutes, both all the time in the world and not nearly enough, as now the sticky bomb's being dedicated. Static is just behind, having that duplicate ready whenever as an emergency button, of course, here, but actually going to be able to find out, remove Amity for the fight. That focusing beam will then take out the supports as well here. Chicken just jumping off the map and just nothing else needed.
I actually love that jump from Chicken right there. Just the full-on get out of here, I'm out. That's actually such a funny play. Lucas does burn the nano somewhere in the middle of that, but you've got all your other ultimates up if you're Essence, so you're not really too bothered by that. And I think your best play here if you're Essence is going to have to be this nano boost onto the Winston of Chicken to try and jump this backline. Otherwise, Lucas and Infamous are just going to be alive for this whole next fight.
You have to worry about it, but, you know, now we're seeing the Echo trying to do what they can. Static dropping incredibly low, gonna get some of that healing absolutely necessary here, and you're seeing Essence finally sort of mount some space, being able to take it with a Nano Winston onto the high ground as the Deadeye is now cast out. Nero is being the member to come up in the clutch right now, absolutely doing everything here on this Tracer. A lot of space being created and working with it over and over, but Torterra does not want to be overshadowed in the Winston duel, uses that primal, forces the break to even pop the rally here, but the rally just unfortunately was not enough for the Sharks to continue to live. Now even more ultimates being invested as Umbreon has a Bob out on the point here, but otherwise the Sharks are just completely lacking in numbers. Static is missing. They are able to get a pick onto Chicken here, and it is delaying capture of the point, so there is enough time potentially for Sharks to come back.
Yeah, I mean, great Bob from the side of Umbreon. You're stalling it out just long enough. Torterra coming in hot right now. Hopefully they can get a pick here and extend this fight for their team.
What they're hoping for. They found this cast out. Amity just stuck in a small room, but the Winston is letting their presence be known, and Static is back doing what they can, following up with all this damage that Echo can produce in the last second. We're now heading into overtime here, but there's not even anybody alive on the side of Essence to get over to the point. And just like that, the Sharks are going to be taking our second map.
I mean, it looked like Essence had that map under not map, but that point, I should say, under their complete control, and then boom, there's the flip right on its head. The Bob coming out, just forcing nobody to touch point, and then you give yourself enough time for your Winston to make it back, your Echo to make it back, and there it is again, that thing that I mentioned earlier, Static and Torterra being right on cue with each other. Doesn't matter what doesn't matter what hero Static's playing with the Winston, they're on the same target at the same time, and there's nothing that's going to save those players.
And I mean, that synergy, it just looks unmatched right now. Like you said here, we definitely thought going into that map, based off of how map 1 went, that Essence would have the upper hand in that dive, but it seems as though that just was not the case here. The Sharks now on the precipice, only needing one more map before locking themselves into that mid-season tournament, but you know, while we could ramble and rant, we'd rather just give ourselves a rest and reprieve, let the teams sort of take a deep breath, realize what's on the line here. So we're going to throw it to a quick break. Make sure you are back on the other side of it, though, because you do not want to miss the end of this match.
I'm not crazy, Malin. I've just been in a very bad mood for 40 years. 40 years.
Carpe diem. Carpe diem.
Welcome back, everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed that break, especially if you enjoyed our brand new Juno little graphic there. Always so great with those pixel arts, especially when a new one gets done. But hey, it's just something pretty to look at while we give those teams those mental reset. In case you forgot, I'm Mega Last, that's Shadow Fang. And Shadow, what have we been watching so far?
I mean, honestly, we've been watching Sharks just be really strong and dominant. First on the Brawl comp on Antarctic, where they had Panda in, and then they managed to swap their DPS Panda out for their DPS Static on map number 2, and we saw the dominance come in on the dive composition. Static playing that Tracer and Echo to perfection with Torterra's Winston. And I mean, just great dive coming out from the side of the Sharks. I can't appreciate it more, honestly.
Some amazing dive leading them to that 2-0 victory lead right now. Not victory just yet. That could be coming shortly, though, as we have, this next map before us. Again, you have to remember the stakes on the line. First to 3 series, winner heading to the mid-season tournament, loser, unfortunately not. So Essence definitely is going to need a bounce back right now, and they could potentially be doing it as we have some hero swaps, some players coming in and out. That could be shaking up the game.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to be seeing water come in for the side of the Sharks here. I'm really not sure why this swap would be coming in, because we've seen the Juno, we've seen the Ana Brig. Is there some sort of other composition that the side of the Sharks is trying to pull on us now? Because I just really think that I see no reason why we wouldn't just see the Orisa Juno Brig again, But, maybe there's some play here that I'm just not thinking of, and we'll see it once the comps get selected on Throne of Anubis here.
We will just have to see. This could be a limit test from the Sharks or something they've practiced here. We have to remember, with the Clash game mode, everything is so new. Oh, and we do have another sub. Dubs is coming in for Nero. Interesting little switch out here. I feel like Nero definitely was one of the shining stars on Essence here, but maybe not feeling the need or the value of the Tracer on this Clash map.
Yeah, it could just be like a different hero pool. They have a different comp that they want to play. Maybe we're going to see the Ram come out and they're like, oh, Dubs is the best May to ever walk this planet, There's any number of reasons that this could be happening. But the fact that Static is staying in makes me think that the side of Sharks is going to opt to continue on a similar sort of dive comp as to what we just saw on Party. So
yeah, and we'll just kind of have to see how that ends up going in terms of the compositions and things like that, right? I mean, Clash, the first thing that comes to mind in terms of comps, right? A little bit of off meta, but a few weeks back at this point, I remember seeing teams, they were running what looked like a very weird composition. It was like a Cassidy, Orisa, Genji, and Ana, but they turned out to just end up really relying on that comp, if I could speak, to just sort of cycle their ultimates and be able to use these powerful ult combos just to win them points time and again here. So while it would be considered off meta, it's something that, sort of fits the Clash mode, right? It's all about making sure you capture these points, sort of forcing those team fight wins to be decisive, and ult combos can certainly do just that.
And I mean, you mentioned the Orisa being in that comp as well. It's the same thing that we saw on Antarctic Peninsula. Orisa is really good at just existing for a really, really long time. And what does Juno Brig also do? Juno Brig helps you exist for a really, really, really long time. The sustain is just insanely high coming out from the Juno Brig. And then, the Orbital Strike, it's kind of like Orisa gets her old ultimate back, because the Orbital Strike is essentially just Bongo that heals people and moves a little bit. So it's kind of like, oh, okay, Orisa, I'm familiar with this ultimate, let's get this going again,
2 years on, people still remember the Bongo as it fondly was. I remember those days. That was back when I first started loving Orisa, and now she's become, this no longer passive shielding tank, and instead a warhorse constantly on the prowl looking for more victims. I love the little orange pop-up, as though we wouldn't notice. Let's shout out to our observer Orange for the evening. They're doing amazing work here. Because guess what? Our observers are the reason that we can see the match. It's great. But speaking of things we see, Shadow, currently all the cops highlighted. Anything interesting?
I was gonna say the Venture was really interesting, but seeing Static swap over to this May, I like this. I like Shark's comp better than I like Essence's comp right now. And again, it's just Torterra's survivability on this Orisa. You're gonna have to burn everything to try and go for this Orisa, and if you don't get the Orisa when you do it, you just lose instantly in Essence.
The character talking about burning everything. Chicken's already out of the fight. Didn't even get a chance to pop that Nemesis form. Gone, and Dismay is now charging forward. Static with the icicles, removing their opposite number, and they still want more. While they have somebody back capping the point here, they're just applying this pressure. Amity on the Reaper, so incredibly low, but able to live for the time being thanks to some long distance healing. But that life is finally ended here. Now you're seeing Chicken try to charge in, get a last minute touch onto point C. That touch unfortunately not going to be delivered as the rest of Sharks already playing forward here.
Yeah, this pure aggression from the side of Torterra is just doing the most, and Static on this May cannot be shouted out more as well.
Yeah, I mean, already back into it here. No Nemesis form means that this Ramattra just gets walked past on the wayside here. Nobody worried about Chicken. And Static just goes to town with the icicles, removing 3 from the fight, with Chicken down making a 4th. And we were talking about how fast this map might be, Shadow, and we're looking at a speed run.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No ults have come out yet, but we've already got Rally, Terra Surge, Blizzard, and Bob available for the side of Sharks. Essence doesn't have anything. This could be the last fight right here, as I know how this goes.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting with this Terra Surge already coming out. Torterra so incredibly low from those cast bullets, but not able to connect it into an 11. Now the Blizzard comes out, freezing up not 1, but 2. The Ram push off the map. Emily does manage to remove Umbreon here, but is just a lone Cassidy against the world. Can't even peek yet. You're going to probably have to give up 1 tick as the Juno has now found the cast. There's going to be the 3rd point in Shark's favor. Amity missing. Now it is everybody else charging forward, trying to get onto this point. Torterra realizing they've overextended, have to come back. The orbital ray now, the extra healing that both teams may need, and the annihilation on top of it here. You're going to be missing Lucas. The break incredibly low. Water has to hide, and now there's no healing for the side of Sharks. This may finally be a stabilization for Essence. That being said, though, they're losing more and more in this fight. No healers, no problem, some might say, but Torterra now might just be the lone attacker left standing. This break, swinging that flail, doing the damage, making sure the healing can try to come through, but it doesn't come through in time for Dubs, who now is falling at the hands of Umbreon. Torterra, it's a back and forth affair here, but it seems like at the end of the day, Essence should be able to finally get a point on the board.
Yeah, it does look like Essence is going to be able to get away from this, only burning the orbital ray and the annihilation. And look at those shots from Amity. Oh my goodness. The cap comes through, and Essence gonna have their Rally, Blizzard, and Deadeye available to them, and I think they should be able to take this next point pretty easily from the Sharks.
And that's going to be the question here of if they can take it, right? They want to start this bounce back here and now. It is going to be a battle back for sure here. You're seeing now all of this pressure be applied. Vicious Essence going forward now with their own Rally, able to remove Static from the fight. They're going to be able to start this point cap as well here. And it seems like the Sharks might just be choosing to disengage and wait and time their engage just right.
Might get a last second touch here from the Sharks. Here comes the speed ring.
The speed ring in, and now you're seeing the Orisa trying to demand all the space. Torterra having that Terra Surge does not manage to connect into an limb just yet, but Bob is out doing damage, forcing everybody on the side of Essence to hide. And now Static is back in. The icicles from hell, they land, they find their mark every single time, and if they don't, you know Umbreon will. Amity, who does manage to remove that Ash from the fight before their own life is claimed here, and it seems like Sharks will be getting their 4th point out of 5.
Yeah, that's kind of a tragic fight for the side of Essence. You don't manage to get your Blizzard off there. We're going to see Amity swap onto this Ash pick. And again, it's just going to be the last point here. again, Static gonna have this Blizzard, Water gonna have Rally. Can you do anything before Lucas gets to this orbital ray? Crazy Turn probably gonna have to burn their ult really, really quick to secure this fight for that game.
Essence forced in such a defensive position here, and now it is the Blizzards being traded out of Venn diagram on the point here, but the first picks are coming through for the Sharks, and they're coming through in spades. Only Static falls on the other side. Chicken dedicating the Terror Surge, trying to do some damage. Unfortunately, it was not enough here. Now only one tick standing between the Sharks and their mid-season tournament berth. They have the orbital ray on top of everything else now. Just a Tracer low on their lonesome. Dubs trying to blink in, do what they can. The Wrecking Ball now trying to be the hopeful that can touch for the rest of the team. Dark removed from the fight. They have to get somebody in here. It is Chicken who's finally blown up. The orbital ray can't keep Crazy Turn alive. It is just more and more of this stagger out. You're seeing Dubs trying to play in the orbital ray, but it fades away. Their chances of winning fade away, and it will be the vicious Sharks taking the victory 3-0.
Absolutely dominant fashion as well. The side of Essence do take a point there, but just absolute dominance from the Sharks. I mean, my goodness, Umbreon killing it on the Ashe, Static killing it on whatever hero they decide to play, and Torterra being an absolute menace on this Orisa, and the Winston for that matter, for a majority of this game. I mean, my goodness.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely ridiculous here. And you know, having that sort of momentum behind you, it's gonna spell hopefully good things for the Sharks heading into next week here. Essence, you know, you tried your best, but now you get a little bit of a longer break of things. But I mean, as you were already saying, right, Shadow? I mean, Sharks, they looked good on a variety of compositions throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, they looked great on the Brawl comps. They look great on the Dive comp. And I mean, that's pretty much all that teams are playing right now, is just you're either playing Dive, depending on like if it's Parisa, Watchpoint, Gibraltar, you know, whatever map it happens to be that you're forced to play Dive on. Well, I guess there's also Circuit, but we don't talk about Circuit. Circuit's its own thing. Circuit's always its own thing. You know what I mean? It's off in the corner by itself, being the Sigma map. But all the other maps, you know, you pretty much have covered between the Orisa comp and the Winston comp that we saw tonight. So, I mean, Vicious Shark seems like a really strong contender, at least from what I could tell tonight.
Yeah, but I mean, while we could sing their praises all night long, I'm sure they're more than happy to do it themselves here. So we are going to throw it to another quick break while we get everything set up for a juicy little interview with a member from the Sharks. So make sure to stick around. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
right, hello.
Hello, everybody. We have ourselves our lovely interview victims, I mean guests. We have both Lucas and Torterra in the mics, on the mic with us. First things first, congrats to you both. I mean, how does it feel to get such a good win?
It was really fun. I love Clash. So people think it's crazy, but I love it because it's like really fast paced. So I love that we get to play Clash now. So finishing a set on that is always really enjoyable because you can go really fast, high tempo. So it's like high energy to finish it out. So it's good.
Yeah, it's a really fun map for that reason, I would say as well. You know, you just get to push the tempo as hard as you want to, see what you can get away with, you know, that sort of thing. So my first question is going to be, what makes you opt for the Winston over the Diva when you're on party? So because again, I was saying this myself a little bit in the cast. I think the Winston can be a little bit stronger than the Diva, but you have to kind of perform your dives perfectly. Is that kind of your similar idea, or what makes you pick Winston?
Short, you're the tank player. You got it.
I like Winston more than Diva. I like Winston. I don't like Diva. Diva's not. I haven't been enjoying the last month and a half of Diva being giga tanked. I like Monkey.
I'm a main tank player myself from the Overwatch 1 days, so I feel you. I always try and play Winston over Diva if I can, so I definitely appreciate that. And then just another question as well. With this win, you all do qualify for the mid-season tournament. Is there any team in particular that you really want to play and see how you fare up against them, and why is that?
Short Bus, you know, they won last season, so I also have, I know a few people in there, but they're really good. They got some really good players. You know, I think we're a pretty good team, so I really want to, you know, go starter for starter against them and see how we fare up our best five versus their best five, and see how good we do.
All right, I think you guys got a good shot from what I can tell so far, so you know, good luck in that regard.
Yeah, exactly here. And I mean, just to round us off, if there's anything you want to shout out, anything you want to say, maybe start some beef with Short Bus, you know, anything you want to do here, feel free. You have the floor.
No, you, Lucas, you go first.
I'm not starting to beef with Short Bus. It is not happening. But you know, from my team. My team's the best. I don't know. I think
we know that he's just using Short Bus as a cover. The real one he wants is the Snowfall team.
Oh yeah.
That's who he wants.
Yeah.
I'm an op.
But if I have to pick one team out of all of the groups of teams that I know of, some I'm not familiar with, I gotta point out the Potato Pillagers team 100%, because their name is Potato Pillagers, but we are going to pillage them. They're going to be getting pillaged by us. Like that, they used to be in our org a long time ago. I know them, but the main tank last, I gotta play Ryan against him. We gotta have an honor duel. I gotta out Ryan him. That's what we need.
I mean, I'm down for it. Reinhardt's my favorite tank personally, so I hope that it happens. Also, were they called the Vicious Potatoes when they were with you? Extra question.
Sussy Potatoes. We used to all have Sussy as our name a long time ago for like fun, because just a quirky name, but it was just a temp name. So it was back then, and then they did their own thing.
All right, so they're potato enjoyers. I mean, I love potatoes myself, but you know. All right, best of luck to you all again in the mid-season tournament and with the rest of your season overall. Thanks for showing us such a good match tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for casting. Yeah, it doesn't always get to happen. It's nice when we get to. It's really fun. Adds a whole nother level of stress.
It just means you got to perform on the stage, but they're able to do it in spades as we saw tonight here. But yeah, so now every single match I think is in the books, Shadow. And you know, week 4, it means that some teams now get an extra break week, but looking ahead to the next week, there's going to be a ton of matches, right?
Yeah, there's going to be a ton of matches to watch out for. I mean, just keep those notifications on, check the pings in the server, because we're going to try and cast as many of these mid-season matches across all the tiers that we possibly can. So just keep your eyes peeled. They could be coming at any time of the day, honestly. It's just kind of based on when these teams tend to schedule their matches. So, I mean, just be on the lookout for that.
Exactly. We have, I don't even know the exact number. I think it's somewhere around 10 to 12 brackets that all have to be played through in a week. So it's going to be chaotic. It's going to be hectic. You want to make sure you're paying attention to the CGL Twitch channel because that's where all the action's going to be breaking down. It's been amazing cast with you, Shadow. As always, we've had our amazing producer Echo in the booth, making sure everything runs smoothly behind the scenes. And of course, Orange, our observer, one of the best in the business, some might argue. Helping everything run greatly here. But that'll be it for us this evening. Make sure, again, click that follow, all that fun stuff you know how to do, and get ready for the midseason madness. Adios.
Bye-bye.
Cash and the ticket is yours. Cash and the ticket is yours.